Welcome to yoga class. And if you're a returning student, welcome back. I cannot tell you how many times I have messed up this intro and did it again. But this one seems to be working. So let's get started. We're going to be doing a down dog deep dive today, so it's going to be a little bit different. If at any point you want to take a break, do so. Drop yourself into a tabletop position or possibly go all the way down into a child's pose, wide knees, whatever you prefer. Grab your blocks, set them close to you so that's easy accessible. Down dog hand placement. Meet me in a tabletop position. Use your fingers and grip the mat. There's going to be a lot of pressure in down dog, so try to think of neutralizing your wrists. Some people do this by placing fists on the ground, so it's a straight line all the way from their fingers to their shoulders. Some people do this by doing a down dog on blocks, possibly down dog with blocks pushed against the wall. Point your pointer finger facing forward. Another alternative is your middle finger facing forward. Pull your fingers in towards you a little bit so that you can feel the grip with your fingers pulling against the mat. Push with your fingers and the entire palm of your hand, gripping with everything. Come into your down dog. Any way you get into it is fine. Wiggle out and play in this down dog, just to warm up your body. Notice that when you press with your arms, you can get a side stretch if you're wiggling back and forth. Take note of your feet. Relax your heels to the ground. Now rise your hips and point your toes even further. Try it again. This time, bend your knees and relax your heels. Try to keep them forward-facing toes in parallel lines to each other. Now rise up on your toes as your knees are bent. Take a few moments here to play with bending your knees, straightening your knees, and having close feet or far feet. Let's focus on your knees and hips and legs. Bend your knees, straighten your knees. Do this a few times with your feet hip distance apart from each other. Bend your knees, lift your hips up into the sky. Straighten your knees. Feel the difference when your hips are lifted and your knees are straight. Try to rotate your quads so that your knees face forward. Try to rotate your knees so they are facing out slightly. Feel the difference in the engagement of your legs. Hover your knees on your next inhale. Look to your hands. Point your toes. Exhale, lower down into a tabletop. Hover your knees. Press into your toes and your hands and hover your knees for just a little bit longer. Lower your knees fully to the ground, reset your body, wiggle out any tension, and make a very long line between the crown of your head to your tailbone, elongating everything as you reset. Child's pose. Sit your hips back on your heels in child's pose. Extend your hands out in front of you, gripping the mat like we spoke about earlier. Push your hands. Maybe you're pushing your hands so severely that your knees can lift off of the ground. At this point, reset, tuck your toes, and move your hands just 1/4 of an inch closer to you. Press with your hands again, now that your toes are tucked, lifting your knees up off of the ground. Levitate here for just a few moments. On your next exhale, lift your hips to the sky. Shrug, pushing the floor away. Notice how it squeezes your head and closes off the space around your ears. Now try to relax your chest towards your knees, making space around your ears. Take a few moments to rotate your elbows towards the front of the mat, towards each other. Bend your knees, press your ribs towards your knees, melting them, relaxing them. Now, bring your rib cage in with your exhale closer towards your spine. Take note of what your body does as you expand your chest towards your knees, or you compress your abdomen and bring your lower rib cage towards your spine. Plank to down dog. Inhale, point your toes, look in between your hands. Exhale, shift your weight forward so that your shoulders are directly above your wrists. And create a straight line from your heels to the crown of your head. If you find yourself becoming a banana, pike your hips just slightly. Exhale, push yourself back into down dog. I'm going to take a few breaths here. Feel free to go into plank one more time. Look at your hands. Keep weight in your toes or wiggle out in your down dog. Step to lizard. Inhale, look in between your hands, point your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Caterpillar your toes on your right foot until your right foot is directly on the outside of your right hand. Use your block to rise yourself up or stay here with your hands pressed into the ground. On your next breath, push your hands and slowly wiggle your foot back to a down dog pose. Inhale, look in between your hands, point your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Pull your knee up to your elbow as you hop your foot directly next to your left hand. Stay here in a lizard pose of your choosing for half a breath. On your next exhale, press your hands into the ground, push your spine up, and hop back into a down dog pose. Reset here in your down dog. Notice the side body stretch that you get from pushing into the ground with your arms. Look at your stomach or your toes or possibly your hands, however you can get a neutral neck. Forward fold. On your next inhale, Look in between your hands and point your toes. On your next exhale, bend your knees. Tippy toe, bend your knees and shift your weight back and forth, or possibly step in between your hands, walking your feet slowly so that your feet are in between your hands. Another technique is walking forward with a 45-degree angle to your feet instead of toes facing forward. Whenever you feel ready, press your hands back into the ground firmly and slowly walk your feet back into a down dog pose. Step into a lunge. Look in between your hands. Inhale, rise up onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Push your spine so it is arching like a cat pose. Slowly moving your foot up the mat as if it is a caterpillar. Step in between your hands on your next inhale. On your next breath, press your hands firmly into the ground, bowing your back, making it look like a cat pose again. Slowly maneuver your foot back to a down dog pose. Relax here for one breath. Hop to a lunge pose, left side. Inhale, look in between your hands. Point your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Press your hands firmly into the ground so that your spine is bowing like a cat pose. Step in between your hands with one fluid motion, using your core and the arch of your back. On your next breath, press your hands firmly into the ground. Use your core and the strength of your knee and leg to rise your foot up and then send it back into a down dog pose once again. Hopping forward fold. Inhale, look in between your hands, point your toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Slowly hop both of your feet at the same time, one hop after another. Possibly you can do one hop all together. With every hop, shift your weight into your hands, so it is easier to bring your knees up to your chest so that you can hop. Stay here in a forward fold as long as you'd like. Whenever you're ready, press your hands firmly back into the ground. Slowly shift weight into your hands, straight, strong arms and shoulders. Exhale, hop your feet back to a down dog. Child's pose. Rise up onto your toes. Stay looking at your knees. Press with your hands, gripping your fingers so securely to the mat. Slowly bend your knees, shifting your weight onto your feet even further. Continue to slowly lower yourself down into a child's pose, levitating your knees off of the ground until you feel ready to place your knees gently on the ground. Untuck your toes and stay here in a child's pose for as long as you'd like. Thank you so much for joining me in yoga class today. I love teaching you, and I'm super grateful for you to be sharing your practice with me. Leave a comment down below letting me know if you prefer having a meditation at the end of your yoga practice or not. I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful day.